Nation, are you feeling the end of the world chill as 2023 fades out? Nuclear winter feels like it's shifting from a dystopian fiction to a forecasted weather event. Drones are armed, AI robots are the new therapists, and Hollywood's pushing for a Velma-focused Scooby-Doo reboot. Ugh. We are here and we're happy to give you guys the rundown on what your apocalypse survival caliber really says about you. So sit back, grab yourself some scotch and aqua cola, and let's start the show. Before we dive into firearms and calibers, here's a survival tip and a business idea. The Great Wall Flu taught us that this kind of premium, soft toilet paper that's befitting of us citizens as a superpower will be in short supply when the world ends. And using the good towels that your wife keeps in the guest bathroom at best is a temporary measure with dire consequences.
Oh, and I'm expecting you really?
Enter the California compliant fin grip. Have you ever seen a more perfect and purpose-made item for scraping the mud from your twerk engine? When civilization collapses, you know the California rifle owners are gonna ditch the cuck fins off their guns for traditional AR grips. If you have an entrepreneurial streak in you, you can become the great trader of the apocalypse, exchanging all the Cali grips for all the basic A2s sitting forgotten in those NorCal drawers. Confused about how the fin would work? Well, just Google the 3 seashells method and thank me later. Today's video is brought to you by Double Black. They make all American 416R stainless barrels that are threaded 1/28 and are button rifled at 1 in 10 twists so you can shoot cast, plated, or jacketed ammunition. They're ready to be used with no hand fitting required and a thread protector is included. Also sponsoring today's video, we have Vault Pro, proudly manufacturing the finest American-made safes, vault doors, safe rooms, and storm shelters. When you buy from Vault Pro, your safety and security and privacy is their only priority. Vault Pro has never and will never release your information to another party. Click the Vault Pro link in the doobly-doo. Love you, Andrew. The 410 shot shell is the preferred choice of disappointment for over a century. If you pick this, it's either because you remember the Eisenhower inauguration or because some smooth-talking salesman at the local gun shop sold you a Taurus Judge for only $5.99. Your brain, buddy, is smoother than my head, and you've been convinced that it's the best all-around survival caliber. I'm willing to bet that you've contributed to the 410 ammo shortages that we've been seeing as you hoard box after box of subpar scatter rounds that excel at literally nothing other than being overpriced. Your range friends have all tried calling you out on this, but you don't listen to their logic as it's just blasphemous noise. In reality, you already know deep down inside, but you want to be the one who finally proves everybody else wrong. You're hoping to become the king of the apocalypse, with the Judge being your iconic weapon. Can you even imagine the disappointment when somebody remotely exfoliates your T-zone, only to find you drop common loot? Well, somebody brought their slide rule to the apocalypse and it came up 5.7x28. Now, admittedly, the 5.7 Survivor has a lot going for him. This round was designed to have a high velocity out of a short barrel, defeat body armor, and is so lightweight you can carry 50 rounds in a magazine without having trained for the Olympic weightlifting team. Now, this all sounds great until you realize that the dog haters at the alphabet agencies decided the primary projectile that this cartridge was built for was just a little too spicy for our grubby civilian hands, thus negating many of the benefits of the 5.7x28 and turning your survival plan into an ill-conceived Stargate cosplay. When the world collapsed, you were prepared. This is the moment that you've been gearing up for your entire life. Your mountain cabin is a fortress complete with fresh water access and years worth of food supplies. You've cleared a 200-meter perimeter and somehow you've come into the possession of an M240 machine gun entirely unconnected to your past military service. Naturally. The toughest part though, concealing your thrill at the prospect of getting to use it. And while this is a gun, not a caliber, that 7.62x51 belt-fed banger is all you're ever gonna need. Unfortunately, no pillaging bands, biker gangs, or local warlords ever made it to your piece of paradise. In reality, they never really showed up anywhere, actually. You ended up having a really boring apocalypse, and the only pillaging happening is what you did to that poor outhouse after eating those 20-year-old beef stroganoff Polish MREs.
I can't talk too long. I gotta poo.
If the 357 Magnum is your survival pick, then you wanted to hop on the pistol caliber carbine craze, but you didn't want to give up your precious cowboy shooting competitions. So instead of getting a useful PCC, you picked up a Winchester 94 to complement that Dan Wesson pistol that dad left you. Quite the strategic choice, my friend. You're now equipped with 2 slow reloading firearms. I mean, what could go wrong? Your post-collapse strategy? Head on west to a cowboy museum and start anew. After all, people can talk smack all they want about your lever gun, but the Cowboy Repeater straight carried your ass through the early levels of Fallout New Vegas without skipping a beat.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
All right, there's got to be a twist here. Oh, there it is. It turns out that you're not the only one with that plan. 100 others arrive with the exact same idea, and you all form an uneasy peace by agreeing that everybody can call themselves sheriff. But when nobody figures out to dig a latrine, or a well for that matter, the group's Old West cosplay is capped off by succumbing to cholera and dysentery.
You suck!
Hey, did you know that you can make black powder with your own urine? No? Well, Keltec probably did. If you answered yes to that question, then I'm betting you're the chair of the local MacGyver fan club, and a muzzleloader is your choice for a survival firearm. When arguing about why the muzzleloader is the best for the job, the black powder guy will just talk endlessly about resupply and the pH level of his urine. Boy, you sound like somebody who buys condoms on the way to a family reunion. If you're gonna run a black powder boomstick for survival, I hope you two will also learn the way of the ninja.
I want to be ninja.
That way, the massive eye-watering smoke bomb produced when you fire can also double as a way to cover your tactical retreat. You think that the 3 minutes you take reloading is speedy, even though you assure your girlfriend that those same 3 minutes are actually substantial. Bad news, bud. While you're fumbling around with your powder and balls, everybody else is reloaded, and you, more likely than not, have moved on from this mortal plane. Your fascination for black powder could have been avoided if your significant other didn't get all tingly in her beefy bits for Daniel Day-Lewis in The Last of the Mohicans. I'm dying. But given she has a penchant for drama, it would explain your attraction to a firearm that gets angrier than the Hulk with low blood sugar if you fail to clean it. You chose the Smith and Wesson 500 Magnum because it was the meanest looking pistol in the pawn shop's display case. Sure, you could have spent that money on getting Nana's CPAP machine out of hock, but what price can you actually put on security? Besides, you'll pick her up a nice pack of menthol cigarettes to help open those airways right back up. Let me tell you something, there is a reason every single 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum pistol at a pawn shop or a gun broker looks pristine. It's because they've only ever been fired one time. You learn this when your first shot creates a fireball that curls paint, rattles windows, and gets you kicked on out of the range. Normally, you would protest, but the persistent tingling feeling in your shooting hand, along with that high-pitched tone in your left ear, kind of distracted you. You're not alone in your reaction, and our literal tens of minutes of investigation has led us to discover that there are in fact only 100 of these hand cannons in existence, and like a regifted holiday fruitcake, they simply endlessly get cycled through pawn shops and rental ranges as their former owners make more sensible choices. Unless you're Roboman. If you have ever read through the comments on a survival video, first, dear God, why would you do that to yourself? And secondly, you no doubt have come across the Crossbow guy. Pun intended. All of his reasons for choosing the Crossbow show that he has spent more time writing erotic Daryl Dixon fanfics than actually shooting anything. Anybody who has ever tried to cock and load a crossbow, wow, that sounded dirty, knows that it takes time, and I mean like a lot of time. Loading a crossbow has the ergonomics of trying to fold a fitted sheet with a rattlesnake and a 10-pound weight in it. Worst of all, it requires you to bend over and take your eyes off the thing that you're shooting, which is considered tactically bad. But Tyler, you exclaim, crossbows are quiet, and that, my friend, is a statement that shows off the impressive scope of your ignorance. Ratcheting and shooting a crossbow is about as stealthy as throwing a can of marbles. And before you tell me that all the gun guys are just gonna run out of ammo, let me know how many years that you've been a blacksmith first.
What did you say?
Newsflash, your broadheads are not gonna last forever, and please show me how you personally will make a straight arrow shaft. Crossbow guys, I can see the wheels turning, God bless you, but I'm sorry to say, the hamster is dead. As ammo prices start to rise again, unfortunately, a misguided impulse, perhaps from the same corner of your brain that once pondered the taste of lead paint, suggests that you stock up on 40 Smith and Wesson. I mean, it was readily available during the last ammo shortage, so why not? Unless your only firearm is a pistol your ex-cop dad told you to hide and never discuss ever again, or something you accidentally won at a police auction, then no, do not do this. This caliber is actually trash. It was made for law enforcement because they wanted something more powerful than a 9mm, but then the recoil was too snappy and they had to nerf it, which just ended up making it more similar to the 9mm. This is the epitome of government waste in projectile form. If you have the confidence to go into an unknown future dystopia with a caliber created by a committee of government middle managers, then good luck. And don't be disappointed in yourself, friend. That's your parents' job. Subscribe.